Hi, welcome to Demo Garage. I'm Steven and I'm restoring a 1973 TVR 2500M. It is middle of August and I have lots of projects I'd like to walk you through. This is all in preparation for putting it back together in time for a early October 6th British car show in Coronado, San Diego. So let me show you what projects I've got going on and what I'm still hoping to complete before the near car show. All right. Okay, so the Bonnet's been getting some love. I think hopefully you've watched my video, which I documented the repair of the fiberglass and cleaning up of the latch brackets. And I'm currently making a modification to the bonnet and the fiberglass to add a lip around the openings in which I can bury some sort of a fastener or anchor. And my intention is to install the grill material in a different fashion rather than bending the edges of the grill over the openings and glassing or gluing them in. My intention is to use a fastener in this new lip and have a flat sheet in both openings and be able to have material that can be removable. And what material do you say? Because that was another topic of a video, and here is the choices. These were the ones that were overwhelmingly chosen by friends and commenters, and so I've got the small version to be installed in those two duct areas, and what I call the fish scale one to be installed in the opening in the bottom. So those are the choices I'm going to do there, and then hopefully I can get a good amount of work done this weekend. I've ordered the grill material. They should be here soon. The addition of this lip is going to be its own video, so I'm not going to spend any time on that. But obviously once I'm done here, then I need to fiberglass in the structure in which this whole hood pivots. Then I can start reinstalling lights and doing some wiring and whatnot. So what else do I have going on? So here's the current condition of the TVR. I think you can easily notice that the inner fender wells are removed, and that was for a few reasons. I wanted to do some inspection of the frame, and I wanted to fix a fiberglass damage I found on the passenger side inner flare, which I've done successfully. The bulkhead, this area has seen some love. I've pulled off the battery mount, and I'm currently have sanded and rust converting. It's going to get some paint, and I pulled off the box that houses the heater core, and while it was home to rats and other critters, it was quite disgusting. I did have it pressure tested today, and it is sound, so I'm going to continue cleaning that up and reinstall it. The electric motor, the fan, is not functional, so I'll be pulling that out. Whether or not I get that done before the October 6th car show, I'm not sure. I have been using rust converter on the frame. That's, let's see, what is this product called? Oh, this is what I've been using. And while I haven't come across a lot of substantial rust, there was enough surface stuff on there that when I painted this on, I'm getting kind of an interesting texture. This is an untreated area. I still have some areas to paint on. You can see that lower frame there. I don't know if they were covered in some sort of a texture from the factory or not, but that's what that's looking like. This lower radiator hose didn't look like something that the factory would have done, or maybe it does. I have ordered new radiator hoses from Andrew over at Gray's Motoring. Those should be in soon. I don't know if it's supposed to be 2 pieces of metal and 3 pieces of hose, but that's what I currently have. This whole inner fender well used to look like this side, a combination of the original silver green peeking through with bad overspray black, and then plenty of areas of raw fiberglass. So I have cleaned this up a bit. I've sanded and primed and used the same bed liner material. I think it's Raptor liner that I have used on the inner fender wells. So I think that looks pretty smart. I'm not going to go crazy in here. I'll probably clean up this back area a bit, and I'll be installing new bonnet rubber. Not sure if I'm going to get to replacing the rubber on the windshields prior to the car show, but it might be a good idea to do that. Might also be a good idea to repair and install the sunroof. I'm starting to feel the pressure of time. I may or may not have time to clean up this emissions. I'm not a big fan of this, the look of this charcoal canister. I can clean up a bunch of these hoses if I remove it, but I don't want to leave the run-on valve isn't hooked up as is, so I don't think removing it's going to be an issue as far as idle or anything. I am going to make my own charcoal canister that I intend to mount and vent from the fuel tank area. I've been collecting parts and intend to turn this tube into a charcoal canister. Like I said, I'll be mounted in the fuel tank area. I did have to remove the radiator to get at the mounts for the inner fender wells. A couple of the bolts came out, but most of them I had to cut off, so I had to pull the radiator out. I am playing with the idea of actually brazing on a metric, I don't know, M22 nut to that, so I can use a more modern temperature switch for the fans. I'm going to be getting rid of the system that's currently controlling it, which is, let's see, where is it? Is this ugly thing. I've got a new wiring harness coming. I've dug into this engine compartment a bunch because my thought was I might try and clean up some of these wires, and now I think that's a fool's errand because I'm throwing a whole new wiring harness at it. So I think I'm just going to put tape over any of the wires that aren't currently attached to anything or weren't currently attached to anything, and then just bide my time until the new wiring harness arrives, and I'm going to be ripping all this out and doing different things. So yeah, probably not going to mess with the wiring, just kind of put it back together after I've cleaned up the engine compartment a little bit more. Over here, I've got the air cleaner sanded and painted up, and going to throw some new elements at that. Dash is all taken apart. It started with trying to figure out why my tachometer wasn't working, and took it to a few places, and it was going to be uber expensive to repair. And when I mean repair, they were going to replace the guts. And a nice gentleman on Facebook group for TVRs told me about this company, Spida, and I'm going to basically throw new guts and convert that myself. That's going to be its own video. And from the first video, you know, I always hated the padded dash. Couldn't stand looking at it any longer since it was out, and I got crazy and ripped it off. So I'm going to be recovering it myself. Here's the old material and the new material. It's basically identical, except I'm not going to be using the crazy padding. I'm also going to be doing quite a bit of work in some of these areas, like this huge radius right here. I'm going to be changing the radius. This latch part fits on the back. I'm going to be changing up. I'm going to be changing all that up. I actually own a laser, so my thought is to sand these down and paint or anodize them, and then burn the labels into the surface back to the bare aluminum. I don't like the silver, so I'll probably be doing either a video on those interior illumination of those parts by itself, or maybe part of a larger video in which I document the restoration or the changes I make to the dash. So that's going to be an upcoming video. Over here is the fuel tank that I purchased, and the sharp-eyed people might notice that I've added these two weld-in bungs, and my thought is for future, possibly a fuel injection conversion in the future, maybe. I'm going to use one, it would be for a return. I'm also planning on changing the venting for when you're adding fuel to the tank. I guess there's a bunch of burping and stuff that happens with the factory tank installation, so I'm going to try and modify that and make it better. And as I've already mentioned, I'm planning on moving a charcoal filter into the engine compartment, or I'm sorry, into the fuel tank area. Please do not be worried by the condition of this dash. I'm only partially worried. I've got everything labeled that I think I needed to label, so and as I already mentioned, my intention had been to clean up the wiring. There was quite a few things that weren't connected to anything, and I think I'm just going to bide my time and wait for the new wiring harness to show, and then not worry about a few of the things that don't work, like the hazards and the horn and a couple of things like that. I've got lights and I've got turn signals, so, and I got brake lights, and I think I have backup lights, so that seems safe enough to drive. So I will be putting this back together once I have the dash recovered. Did I mention I was also going to recover the center console? So I have that inside. And then finally over here, as I mentioned, I've got the mount for the battery sanded and rust converted, and I might do another sanding, and then I'll be painting that. This fender well had some damage right in this general region, and I've fiberglassed that up and sanded it back. I primed and treated and painted both the wheel area on the inside and in the engine compartment area on the outside with the Rhino liner, bed liner material. And then last but not least, I'm still working on, this is the box that the heater core gets in, and it had some broken areas. So I've got it sanded and I've got it glassed up, and so today I'll be sanding that back flat and priming and painting, and sometime in the near future I'll be putting that all back together. So that is an update on the current condition of my 73 TVR 2500M, and I appreciate you coming along for the ride, and I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks.